And welcome again to Cottage Talk. I am Russ Goldman. This is my post-match reaction show. I'm going to give you my 5 takeaways from Fulham's victory against Chelsea at Craven Cottage Thursday night. We already did Cottage Talk full-time, so this is just a little bit of an extension of that. I like doing these takeaway shows where I just look back and just tell you what I got out of the match. And there are 5 of them, and I'll be sharing that with you shortly in this short 15-minute episode. Also want to mention, if you weren't already aware of it, we do have a preview show that went out yesterday. I actually spoke to Simon from True Faith, the Newcastle United podcast, and I would highly recommend watching that. Please do check out our preview episode. He gave me some very good insight into Newcastle United ahead of the match on Sunday for Fulham. So we already have a preview episode. We've already done full-time show. I know it's not in the exact order, but I thought I would still give you some talk on this victory because I certainly want to still talk about it. I'm still enjoying beating Chelsea, and I'm going to talk about it in these next 15 minutes. Also want to mention that we will have Cottage Talk full-time after the Newcastle United match. Each and every day, I'm going to be bringing you content, different types of content, because I just like talking about Fulham. I have co-hosts that will be joining me for most of these shows as well. Some I do by myself, but I just want to give you content, and I'm going to continue to do that. As always, please do subscribe on YouTube and Apple Podcasts. It does help other Fulham supporters find us. Okay, so let's get going. And I don't know about you, but I'm still excited in regards to the victory. One of the reasons why I wanted to do this show, but I also like this type of format that I've come up with, the 5 takeaways. So let's start with number 5, and I think this is huge, and I've seen a lot of talk on it already. So I'm going to share my take on it. Number 5, Fulham played as a team, and Chelsea played as individuals. And I think this played out throughout the match, from the very beginning to the end. Now, at times, and I'm going to say this, I don't think Fulham played their best match style-wise, performance-wise. But the one thing that stayed true throughout the match is that they played as a team. They fought for each other. They were there for each other. And that led to all 3 points. Wasn't pretty at times, but they got the job done. When I look at the exact opposite of Chelsea, I see some very talented players. We saw João Felix make a very interesting debut for Chelsea. At times, he looked excellent. I'm going to hand it to him. He looked very dangerous. But you know what? We also saw the other side of him. He made a dangerous challenge, which led to a red card. And then when you look at how Chelsea played at the back, they were really just not on the same page. It just seemed like a bunch of players out there instead of a well-drilled team. That's the difference here. There's no accident here. Fulham deserve to be where they are, and part of it is that they play for each other and they play as a team, and they are listening to the instructions of Marco Silva and his coaching staff. They really are difficult to beat, and part of that comes down to the togetherness, the team attitude that they have out there. They're all fighting for each other. Just look how they reacted when Williams scored, and of course when Vinicius scored. They are playing together as a team. That's my number 5. Let's now go on to number 4. And this is actually a concern of mine before the match. Fulham found a way to play against a 3-5-2 formation. Fulham have struggled under Silva at times to deal with this type of formation. I was concerned that we would see it in this match, and we did. But you know what? Even though it didn't really work out the way that I had hoped, meaning I was hoping Fulham would be able to create more opportunities. They were able to create some. And it was really about being clinical and taking advantage of those opportunities. This formation makes it tough on Fulham at times, the way they want to play. But if you play together as a unit, as I talked about in number 5, you can make things happen. So they found a way to win playing against this formation, which I think can help them when other clubs play this formation, because it really is not a good formation over the last 2 years for Fulham to play against. But they got all 3 points. They found a way to deal with it. That to me is the bottom line. They found a way. That's number 4. Let's go to number 3. And I think this is a key one. Red cards change matches, but you still need to take advantage of the opportunity. So when you look at it, yes, Felix's red card, automatically you're thinking, okay, Fulham can go ahead and win this match. That's what was going through my mind. It probably was going through the minds of the players. Here's the opportunity. We're going to be up a man for the rest of the match for about 30 plus minutes. And that is huge. It's huge. But you know what? To Chelsea's credit, I don't want to give them too much credit. I thought they dealt with being down a man fairly well and still made it difficult on Fulham to break them down. But they persevered and they took advantage of the opportunities that came their way. And that to me is very important, because I think it would have been a huge disappointment to only get a point from this match. You're up a man. You need to be aggressive when you get that opportunity. And like I mentioned, they didn't create a tremendous amount, but when they did, they took advantage of it. And that cross from Pereira was fantastic, and Vinicius took advantage of the opportunity. What's funny about this is, for playing against 3 at the back, he beat 2 center backs and basically a goalkeeper who was in between 2 trains of thought and scored a goal. So it was a tremendous delivery, but it also was a great goal from Vinicius. And I don't buy this that it was a tap, and I've heard this talk. That's a bunch of crap. He still had to get it done. That's what I mean. You got to take advantage of the opportunity that is right in front of you. When you're up a man, you take advantage of it. And then Fulham saw the match out being up this man. So did they create all these wonderful opportunities? I will say no, and I'll give Chelsea credit for that. But they did take advantage of it enough to get the goal and win the match. That's the bottom line. Taking advantage of the opportunity that's in front of you. That's what's so impressive about this Fulham team, is that they see the opportunity and they pounce. And they did in this match. They deserve all 3 points. They deserve to beat Chelsea. They were the better team throughout the match. Point blank, better team. I'm not saying that the performance was better than Chelsea's, because I've been listening to some commentary from some Chelsea podcasts talking about their performance, and some pundits are talking about that as well. I heard one pundit saying that Chelsea outplayed Fulham. Who won the match? Who won the match? Fulham won the match. It's not always about the performance. It's about 3 points. And the team that had the opportunity to get all 3 points did it. And they took advantage of the red card. Okay, so that's number 3. Number 2, this one is unfortunate. And Anthony Robinson picks up a yellow card, and he will miss the Newcastle United match. And I think this is going to hurt Fulham. I hate to say this, because as someone that wasn't sure if Anthony Robinson should have been our left back to start this season, he's proven me wrong. He has been very valuable. And I think this is going to be an issue for Fulham against Newcastle United, especially against Almiron. Talking to Simon from the True Faith Newcastle United podcast, he basically laid it out to me that he is very difficult when he has time on the ball. And with Kurzawa out there, I think this could be an issue. So this was unfortunate for Anthony, unfortunate for Fulham that he picked up this yellow card. As someone said to me, it was bound to happen. Maybe so, but I just wish it didn't happen, because now we have the situation at hand. And we just have to hope that Layvin Kurzawa can step up. The one thing that I will say about him is I wanted to see him get some more match time. Well, now he's going to get it. And it's going to come down to what he does with this opportunity. So there are a couple of ways to look at this. Losing Anthony Robinson hurts, but this is why you brought in Layvin Kurzawa. It's really next man up. It's his time to shine. Just like Carlos Vinicius took advantage of his opportunity. It's now Kurzawa's opportunity. He can cross the ball very well, and I hope he does it often against Newcastle United and gets the ball to Mitro. So, yes, this is an unfortunate situation having Robinson miss the match, but it's also an opportunity for Levin Kurzawa to make a mark in Fulham history. So I'm just going to mention that there are two ways to look at this. I hope the latter pays off, meaning that Kurzawa steps up against a very difficult side and a very difficult player and Almiron. It's going to be hard on him, but I hope he can do it. We shall see if he will be able to. Okay. Coming up next, I'm going to share my number one takeaway from the Fulham victory against Chelsea. Okay. To end this show, I'm going to share with you my number one takeaway from Fulham's victory against Chelsea. And like I said, I'm still enjoying the fact that they beat Chelsea. So I think this one's a no-brainer. It's easy. The win moves Fulham to 6, and they deserve to be there. That's the interesting part about this, because and this goes hand in hand with some of the commentary that I've heard over the past couple of days from a lot of pundits across the pond from where I am in England and also here in America. I'll use ESPN Plus as an example. They did 45 minutes, I kid you not, on the Chelsea-Fulham match, and not 2 minutes did they talk about Fulham winning the match. They did not get the respect that they deserve from ESPN Plus. It really upset me. I watched it for 45 minutes waiting for them to at least acknowledge that Fulham won the match, and they just simply did not do it. Fulham had earned this respect. They earned where they are right now, 6. They absolutely did. And to watch this on ESPN Plus was just so infuriating. But the flip side about this, they are getting some deserved recognition, and that actually came from Peacock. Peacock here in America with Tim Howard, former Everton goalkeeper, and Danny Higginbotham, former Manchester United player, couldn't say enough good things from Fulham about Fulham. And what's interesting about it, they approached it this way. They started their show by saying after the Fulham match that they understand that a lot of the talk, I'm paraphrasing, is going to be about Chelsea, but they're going to put the focus on where it should be, on Fulham. And they started to talk about Fulham for a good 15, 20 minutes, and it was great to see. They broke down the goals, they broke down the opportunities, they focused on who won the match and who's on the ascendancy. Fulham deserve to be where they are. I gave you the reasons at the beginning of the show. The fact that they play together as a team, they deserve to be here. So it might take a while for them to earn the respect beyond the Fulham supporters and, like I said, some other media outlets, but they deserve to be 6. They've earned it. They're on 31 points. They deserve it. So enough with other supporters not understanding what's going on with Fulham. At some point, you're going to have to. And they're making their mark. And they deserve to be 6. We'll see if they can end in 6. Who knows? Like I said, what's great about this, they've won 5 matches in a row, 4 in the league, and winning is infectious. Can they go and beat Newcastle United in St. James's Park? Well, I'm here to tell you it's going to be difficult, but I wouldn't bet against them. I'll just leave it at that. I wouldn't bet against them. I predicted a Newcastle United victory, but it wouldn't shock me if they go in there and get all 3 points. I'm just going to say it. It should not be a surprise if Fulham win the match on Sunday. It shouldn't. Absolutely should not. Okay. Well, I do have some comments. Let's see what I have from some of the Fulham supporters. Let's start with my friend Steve Reynolds. We're getting the results from hard work as a team. We will suffer defeat, but it's how we bounce back from it and unite as a team for the next game. Good point, Steve. Listen, they've actually had some very bad losses. Manchester United, Manchester City. Good point by you. It's how they bounce back, let's just say 3 to 4 weeks later, and we're able to then get on this run. It's not dwelling so much on what happened. It's moving on to the next match. And they're able to do that. they're able to have the blinders on and really do who's up next. And Newcastle United are up next. Okay, let's see what else is being said. This from my friend Colm Bugle. I love Colm. I agree with a few people who said we actually played a better game against Manchester United than we did against Chelsea. But the result is what matters in the end. Colm, that's my point. It's not always about the performance. Yes, I think they did play better against Manchester United, but they didn't win the match. They won this match. When you're not playing at your best and you win, that to me just speaks volumes of the direction that you're going. No way that they win this match 2 seasons ago. No way. Sorry, they just don't. Let's see. This is from my friend Kamal. Totally right, Russ. Same on BT. I've heard the same thing, my friend. It's just too bad. I just don't get it. It's too bad. Give Fulham the respect that they deserve. This is from Wayne Walden. Raven Kurzawa will do well against Newcastle. I certainly hope so. And here's a comment. And listen, I understand this. This is from Magic. It's probably Newcastle United supporter. Newcastle 3-0. Hey, they should feel confident. They should absolutely feel confident. Newcastle United supporters should believe in their team. They're third in the league. They deserve to be there. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. All I'm saying, I would not be surprised if Fulham found a way not only to get something from this match, but to win the match. Newcastle United deserve to be favored, deserve to be confident that they're going to win this match. We'll see what happens. I'll just leave it at that. Well, that's going to do it for this episode of Cottage Talk. As I mentioned, always please do subscribe on YouTube and Apple Podcasts. It helps other Fulham supporters find us. As I mentioned at the beginning of the show, we do have a preview episode of this match against Newcastle United. Please do check that out. We will have Cottage Talk full-time after the match and more commentary as well during the week. There's plenty to talk about on Cottage Talk. That's going to do it for this episode. My name is Russ Goldman. Thank you, as always, for watching and listening to Cottage Talk, now part of the talkSPORT Fan Network.